On the next episode of Sips, Suds, and Smokes,
we are going to do a takeover. It's a brewery takeover of Pontoon Brewing in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Go to Boy Dave. Why don't you give us a little info on them?
Pontoon Brewing was founded by a group of longtime pals and homebrewers who are passionate about developing awesomely scrumptious beer.
The Pontoon Brewing beers we'll be tasting and discussing today are We're Gonna Need a Bigger Pontoon, a New England-style IPA, clocking in at 8%. Crushing Waves, Berliner Weiss, 6.3% ABV. Check Yourself, and it's hard for me not to say before you wreck yourself, but Check Yourself, Czech Pilsner, 4.5%. Das Labyrinth, a Märzen at 5.3%. And Dem Bones, a dry hopped Pils at 5.5%.
we'll be right back after this break. Brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. No?
Star Trek?
No, not Star Trek, silly, though it has been a good month of watching Star Trek. But this is a Suds segment.
Oh, you threw me off when you said greatest. End show.
And really? Come on. Optimism. This is a Suds segment where good beer meets bad radio and sometimes bad beer meets us. Or something like that.
Okay.
Well, joining me at the table today, God, I gotta rally the troops here.
Stunned silence.
We haven't had any beer yet.
Okay.
You're getting grumbly over here.
All
Speak for
right.
yourself.
Okay. All right. Let me get on to it. Go to Boy Kendall. Hello.
Hi, good day. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful day to sit around and drink beer.
It is.
That was the fakest happy voice I've ever heard.
Hey, now he's happy. We're happy. Reverend Mark.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, whether
See?
you believe it or not.
He's happy.
Whether you believe it or not.
And you got a really cool, colorful shirt, too.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that later. Hello, good old boy Sean.
Good to see y'all. Good to be back.
Nice to have you here with
I was
us.
starting to wonder if you'd remember how to get to the house. The studio.
He's just been busy. He's been doing things. He's been traveling.
He's got a life.
Avoiding Titans traffic.
That too.
For
Yes.
reals.
Yeah, exactly. And good old boy Dave. Hey.
I know you are, but what am I?
Of course. Well, today we are going to do a takeover. It's a brewery takeover of Pontoon Brewing in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Go to Boy Dave. Why don't you give us a little info on them?
Pontoon Brewing was founded by a group of longtime pals and homebrewers who are passionate about developing awesomely scrumptious beer. I already don't like them. For the pontoon lifestyle. Second reason I don't like them. We all shared a passion for craft beer, and homebrewing together on the weekends quickly became something we always look forward to. Following long discussions about attempting our dreams, we decided to share our passion and start Pontoon Brewing Company in 2014. The pontoon lifestyle is the idea of escaping the daily stresses and relaxing on a pontoon boat. For those unfamiliar, a pontoon boat is commonly known as a slow-moving party platform. It can't go far and can't go fast, just like me. So you might as well drink. Well, that is just like me.
See, things are
Now
looking up.
they came back then. I like.
Pontoon Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good old Pontoon Dave. Wonder if you can homebrew on a pontoon.
I think it's been done before.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw those Brewdog guys. They did that on their show. They on some kind of boat.
They definitely brewed on a few boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're crazy like that.
That water gets choppy.
It just aerates the wort.
Yeah. Till you get some on you.
Ouch. Good old boy Sean, why don't you give us the lineup for today?
Alrighty, the Pontoon Brewing beers we'll be tasting and discussing today are We're Gonna Need a Bigger Pontoon, a New England style IPA, clocking in at 8%. Crushing Waves, Berliner Weisse, 6.3% ABV. Check Yourself, and it's hard for me not to say before you wreck yourself, but Check Yourself, Czech Pilsner, 4.5%. Das Labyrinth, a Märzen at 5.3%, and Dem Bones, a dry hopped Pils at 5.5%.
I had to say the can for Check Yourself is pretty awesome. I guess they're really into otters. Is that what that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of otters.
So like a Mr. T otter.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. I
like
mean, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
There
cool.
you go.
Well, thank you. Good old boy Sean. That's a really good lineup. I'm getting thirsty. Good old boy Kendall, why don't you tell us the ratings for today?
We'll be discussing and rating these beers with these SUDS ratings plus our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud. 2, was that a belch? 3, what a relief. 4, a body should really not make that sound.
On a pontoon.
And 5, listen to that hang time. Give me another.
On a pound too.
On a pontoon?
Thinking of the check yourself there. Okay, brief little side note. The website, I like it. It's easy to navigate. They got some cute little otters in various stages of.
Undress.
Whoa. Wow.
Hey, this is a family show here.
It's not that kind of website, Sean. I don't know what you've been browsing lately.
No, it's pretty cool. And distribution wise, it's Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Massachusetts. Isn't that crazy? I guess I'm not hip on the
Skipped over.
distribution models.
If you're going to name your beer, we're going to need a bigger pontoon. I mean, presumably Massachusetts. That's where Jaws was at, right?
It was, I think so. Right?
I mean,
that answers.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't
There you go.
thinking. But I'm really happy that
Wow.
they're
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Skipped a lot of
And-
places to get there, but
I know.
I mean, when you got a Jaws themed beer, you got to go to
you gotta
Massachusetts.
go.
You
Yeah.
do. Right. So, yeah, that makes sense.
It's a pretty serious beer market to wedge yourself into.
Very.
Yeah, true. But hey, kudos. All right. Well, let's get into it. The first beer that we are going to discuss is We're Gonna Need a Bigger Pontoon, 8% ABV New England IPA. It features Azacca and Dorado hops, finishes off with a bite of Citra in the dry hop. In these hazy waters, you'll encounter a wave of tropical fruit notes and a strong citrus aroma. Drink it quick or you're sure to beat shark bait. Haha. It's a really pretty color.
It's definitely hazy.
Lots of haze.
Soft mouthfeel.
Lots of haze, yes.
Very soft. Yeah.
Although I'm getting a little bit of alcohol on the end of this. It's not hot, but you know it's there.
There's a little bit of. That's interesting. A lot of
Yeah,
people shield
that
it,
is.
shield you from it, but they're like, "Hey, here it is."
Means the shelf life will be
It's all hold up for a while.
pretty good.
What do you think, Sean?
It's interesting. I mean, having just drank some of the fine liquids from Lawson's and The Alchemist, it's little
departure.
little departure from
Yeah.
from those having those beers recently.
Acclimate your taste buds to the South again.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this has been poured cold. It is, the aroma's coming out a little bit, but it's a little damp for me. It means
May need to warm up a little.
It's got all the flavors you think are there. I just don't think they play well together. I feel like that this is a little bit of all over the place.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's a hazy New England IPA, but it's just kind of middle of the road. Nothing about it stands out. It tastes like pretty much every other one. It's just
Yeah. I mean, I think it
drinkable.
checks most of the boxes,
Yes.
but it doesn't go the extra.
And, even though I like a well-attenuated beer, no matter what, except for maybe a Scottish or whatever, this could, for me, at least have a little bit more of a malt foundation.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I do feel like, I think for me, there's something about the hops that are a little out of whack, kind of what you say, Kendall, but specifically there's, and maybe it's part of that alcohol in the end, but there's something at the back end that's almost like a hop bitterness or something that's like right there at the back end that, like, if that wasn't there, I feel like it would finish a lot better. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's creamy on the front end. You get that hop bitterness, and it's this sharp ending that's still there. And I guess it's just missing a little bit malt, which is interesting.
Well, I think metallic comes to me. I get a little bit of a metallic.
Okay.
There's some hops that do that to me, though. I can get that little, almost like a twinge of not quite bitterness, but I know what you're saying, that you kind of feel that metallicness.
Yeah.
I will say, to their credit, at least for me, I'm not getting hop burn, which you get on a lot of them. So,
yeah. So it's not bad. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we are going to rate this first beer from Pontoon, the Needing the Bigger Pontoon, a 3.
Okay. It's a start.
Yeah. Now moving on to something completely different. We're going to talk about the Berliner Weisse called Crushing Waves. It's 6.3% ABV. It has 700 pounds of fresh pineapple and tart cherry puree. Kettle-soured with lactobacillus, tart beer that embodies the perfect dessert-inspired sour.
When did Berliner Weisse start becoming more over 6%?
It strikes me as a little bit of an anomaly to me, but I guess I go more by just what the brewing guidelines tell me to do as a home brewer.
Yeah.
I would not brew one this high.
Yeah, I think that's a trend, especially as we've seen them put more fruit in them and try to push those boundaries. A little bit of alcohol helps in that, I think. But yeah, I kind of dig this one.
I like it. I do.
I like this a lot.
I don't know what would just make this jump out to me as a Berliner Weisse. I mean, it just feels like anytime you say kettle sour, you kind of know what you're going to get. And like, this is that. But I like the fruit that they use. I like the combo of the pineapple and the cherry.
Yep. It's clean. It's not overly tart. I think a lot of Berliners go for tart just for tart's sake. And this one's got a little nice fruity tartness to it. And you're right, the fruit works. I would like a little more pineapple, but I like it.
Well, we'll be back with more discussion about this beer and others in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is a brewery takeover from Sandy Springs, Georgia, a place called Pontoon Brewing.
Bunghole.
Excuse you? Wasn't quite expecting that. Thank you very much, good old boy Dave.
That's what she said.
So I get you.
That true. So what we were talking about before the break was Crushing Raves. They're 6.3% ABV. And we were having a little discussion during the intermission about when the fruit was added. So in doing a little bit more research and reading a little bit
deeper
more,
dive?
yes, the pineapple and tart cherries were added during the secondary fermentation.
So I guess they got it as sour as they were going to get it.
And then added the fruit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't find a huge flaw in this. I mean, I don't know about you guys.
No.
And it doesn't come off as, it's a little higher alcohol than you might say the baseline you normally go by, but I don't get any heat at all.
Sean, have you ever done any kettle sours?
Yeah, I've done a few kettle sours, and actually the way they go about doing it is the way I would go about adding fruit to the kettle
Let it
sours I've done.
do what it's going to do.
And this, as a general rule, anytime I was adding fruit, I would, just let it do a second fermentation and go from there. Yeah. No, it's a good
And
way
that's
to do
going to
it.
bump up your ABV.
It'll bump up the ABV a little bit. And the other thing is, you still have your yeast. You're not going to have to, if you're going to package it, you don't have to worry about those cans exploding on the shelves in theory because
that's good.
The fermentation has run its course.
Yeah. You want that. You want shelf stability.
Yes.
That's always a plus.
No
yeah.
sploding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has got sorry. I just want to give my 10 seconds here of sorry.
Take 15.
Oh, you're such a giver. I'm really digging this because kettle sours for me are kind of hard. They end up being a little bit sharp and you can only get through like maybe one and you're done.
Right.
But this one I feel is a little bit more approachable. The fruit is kind of softening that lactose sharpness that you can get. And I think that for speaking as a girl, some girls really might dig this because there is that little fruity component to it. So you can hang with the boys, so to speak, on having a craft beer that's not an IPA.
Sour.
And it's sour for those that are like sour heads, but it's not too overly. We're not getting into the dark end of what sours can be. So I'm
The dark side.
Well, I've not brewed one of these
side.
as a hobbyist, but don't you use unmalted wheat? Do you use unmalted wheat?
It depends. I always used, I think it was like a 50-50 combination of, actually it would be, I think, malted wheat and then maybe some oats or flaked oats and then the rest in pale or Pilsner malt.
Right. It's just really clear, too. Berliner Weisses that I've had in the past been very opaque.
Right.
So.
Well, I think that's partially because of the kettle souring, the way those are turning out. And then usually, at least a lot of brewers that I know, will use something like the Sierra Nevada strain to ferment it out. So that also would help flocculate and make for a clearer beer.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people are just straight up, like using a bright tank or something to really kind of filter stuff out. And,
Yeah. No, it's the Berliner Weisses I brewed generally turned out pretty clear. They might be a little hazy up front, and then give it a month or so, and then they'll clear up really nice.
Nice.
cool.
There you go.
Well,
This guy.
we are going to rate the Crushing Waves from Pontoon Brewing a 4.
4.
Okay, so there's as we're talking about beer, I wanted to bring in sort of a topic of discussion. So we've all had McDonald's Happy Meals, right? Like
Sure.
everyone here.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's, grown up, since the 70s, 60s, 70s, forever mark the 20s,
The Roaring 20s, though.
That's right. That's why they were roaring, because Reverend Mark couldn't hear well, so he had to yell. So anyways, I read a story from the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, recently, and they were interviewing a McDonald's manager, and he revealed what grimace is. Like for everybody,
Oh my
who's
God.
grown up,
my goodness.
this big purple whatever, right? So, do any of you guys know what grimace is?
Well, so I have a little story about him. We found ourselves in a McDonald's drive-through in Bardstown, Kentucky, shortly after the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Well, that's the best time to hit a McDonald's drive-thru.
You're right. Because of the wait in the line, and maybe because the whiskey was making me talk, I started making pronunciations from the back seat. And one of the pronunciations, aside from Mayor McCheese is a fascist, a Happy Meal is neither happy nor a meal, was grimace is not a good sign of what happens if you eat McDonald's food. So that's my take on grimace.
Okay.
It's the amorphous blob that you turn into if you consume enough McDonald's food.
Fair.
Wow.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you
I'd
this.
go with that.
Grimace started out as Evil Grimace. When he was first introduced in the late 60s, I think, he had 4 arms and he was a thief.
Whoa.
And he would steal
with the bandit
Happy
or something?
Well, there was the
The Hamburglar.
There was
The
the
Hamburglar.
Hamburglar,
Okay.
right? But Grimace is actually a taste bud.
What?
Really?
So if you look at a picture, like a picture of taste buds, they are roughly Grimace shaped. Now, what's interesting to me is like
That kind of blows my mind.
a McDonald's taste bud and it's named Grimace, so is that because you grimace when you taste McDonald's food? I don't know.
You grimace when you find out what chicken McNuggets are made of.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, I still don't know that. I don't want to know that.
You grimace when you find out that the ice cream machine is not working at the McDonald's.
Oh, that's rude. Yeah. I'll tell you, there for a while, I had to stop eating McDonald's completely because every day I would go get you could get the 2 apple pies for $1 and then a caramel sundae. And then I would make caramel apple pie a la mode.
Oh, wow.
Dude, for real.
For breakfast, huh?
Yeah. I put a couple of those on a fillet of fish. Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, I just
You can
can't
cook
do
them.
it.
Yeah. Well,
Every Friday night, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I was lonely.
yeah, I have steered away from McDonald's ever since I watched Super Size Me.
Same here. Yeah. I mean, I will still do the sausage biscuit on occasion,
Yeah.
but even then, I'm like, I'm
Kendall,
taking
when's the
years off
last
my
time
life.
you ate
Yeah.
at McDonald's?
I think I had a couple McDonald's cheeseburgers and fries like 2 months ago. It was
okay.
like one of those times where I was starving. I'd gone way too far since eating. I still had lots of chores to
He
do.
was
And I was
weak and
driving
delirious.
by McDonald's and the drive-thru was empty. And I'm thinking, I guess I'll just get a cheap hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
Empty parking lot, cheeseburger, it's on.
It's the convenience. Yeah.
Well, and
Totally.
I have to backtrack. I haven't had burgers or fries in forever.
Oh, wow.
But for a short period, same situation. I'd go through an area where I was really hungry, still had a long way to go home, and I would and it'd be in the morning though, and it'd be an egg McMuffin. And how can you mess that up? So
You're so naive.
but where they source their eggs, I want that yolk cooked all the way through. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get back to some liquid.
Yeah, well, I was going to say for the rest of the beers, maybe we'll talk about, and maybe this sends the wrong message as a family friendly beer show. We could try what Happy Meal item would you pair each of these beers with?
Okay. Well, challenge accepted here. Let's go. Next beer up for grabs is the Check Yourself. 4.5% ABV Czech Pilsner. Pity the fool who don't crush this light Czech Pilsner. I'm trying to say that in Southern talk. I don't know how that came out.
Southern talk. It's not her native tongue.
It is not. No, folks, it is not. I am proud from the north.
She's a Southern belle.
No. A slightly sweet toasted malt gives off biscuit and bready aromas and flavors. Pale golden color, it can outshine any gold chain.
All right, so Czech Pilsner they're supposed to be sweeter than German Pilsners, right? Or
They have more malt character.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
okay.
say sweeter. In fact,
It's
this one's a little sweet.
It
Yeah.
is. It's tasty, just a little sweet.
so it's
None-
more
none-
about the hops, right? Like how assertive the hops are compared.
Well, they're
comparatively.
generally softer, but you're going to get those oftentimes the SUDS character.
the minty, kind of a little minty.
maybe a little peppery.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes a little bit of sulfur in the nose from the yeast. But yeah,
Unless you let it lager for months.
right.
yeah.
Now, this isn't a bad Czech Pils. I wish it was just a little more attenuated. There's a little sweetness there. I wish I would have got rid of.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
And
Let
I
it
don't
go
know
for a little longer.
Yeah, I think they could have let it gone for a little longer, or maybe even lagered it a little longer. But overall, solid beer. I think it needs a little more time.
Or done a double decoction,
Yeah. Either that or
Sir, we don't use that language here. I just literally said
We're family friendly.
I mean, I would also say maybe just bump up the hops a little bit too. Would help with that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it kind of cuts.
it
through
kinda
the
mutes
sweetness a
them.
little bit.
Yeah, it does mute them.
Yeah.
If they like the malt backbone, it's not bad, but it's just a little sweet. But if that's what you're wanting and that's what's in the description, then,
But that would be hard to crush a lot of these.
Right.
I don't know if you were drunk on a pontoon, you might be able to. What do you think, Juliana?
I appreciate the fact that they went with the Czech Pilsner because not everyone is going to go for that style because it is sweeter. When you have your benchmark,
Right.
this is not the benchmark standard that we all love and adore so much. But I could see where they're coming from with this, and yeah, maybe a little bit more attenuation. It's just a little bit on the sweeter side. So for somebody that maybe is not used to the true Pilsners and maybe they like things a little maltier, sweeter, then I could see where this could be in their wheelhouse.
This is a gateway beer.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Moist. Moist.
That's good old boy Dave's favorite word.
It is.
Moist. Moist.
But I could see how some people would enjoy this, Okay, so now the big question is, what part of the Happy Meal does this go with?
Ooh. Well, it's not a dessert beer, so
No.
it wouldn't go with the cookies.
I'm thinking chicken nuggets.
Yeah, but which sauce? Which nugget sauce do you go for?
Do kids eat nugget sauce? Don't they just put everything in ketchup?
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
That's just blasphemy.
I'm a honey mustard guy myself.
I'm barbecue.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I can tell that about you. You look the type.
Well, to sauce or no sauce with the McNuggets and the Czech Pilsner.
Honestly, when I eat chicken McNuggets, I just eat the breading off and then I
This
You're a
would,
separatist.
yeah, there you go.
this would go well with their fish fillet. It would kind of counterbalance the rancidness of the fish.
Wow. Would it help take care of all the mercury in the fish? As if that fish has ever seen water, but
Wow,
whatever.
really? Okay, well, there we go. But the fish fillets even come in the Happy Meals. I don't know about that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what used to come in Happy Meals? Little Hot Wheels Corvettes.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm thinking this beer would pair good with one of those little Hot Wheels Corvettes.
This beer in a Corvette.
Yeah.
There you go.
On the pontoon.
Yeah.
Hey, living large.
I like it.
Living large. Well, we are going to rate the Czech Pilsner from Pontoon a 3.
Nice. So these guys, they're not blowing me away like amazing, but at the same time, I feel like this is a pretty solid flight of beers so far.
So far, yeah.
And I like the variety that they have. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
right.
Having recently visited some breweries where it's like, here's our selection of hazy IPAs and maybe a kettle sour or some sort of lager. It is nice to see this spectrum here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean just, was up in New England area, drinking all the good hazy beers. How many of those guys are doing lagers now? Because it feels
A
like
lot.
everybody's doing lagers.
Actually,
So-
when I got to the Alchemist, because I knew I was going to be buying Heady
There's
Topper.
no way he's
and-
doing a lager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing lagers there. Yeah,
Yeah, he
so
does.
that's, I think I had their Kolsch and I had something else from. Obviously, Kolsch is not a lager, but yeah, I
kind
had.
of a-
I went for stuff that wasn't their hoppy stuff because I was like, well, I know I'm coming back with Focal Banger and Heady Topper, so
Yeah.
why don't I drink? And so that was pretty cool, and it's all canned too.
Was it good?
It was good. Lawson, same deal. They had some really incredible pills. And then, but then you get to Von Trapp, and it's just nothing but
Yeah.
lagers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which was
Fantastic.
the hills are alive
Yeah.
with the sound
Yeah.
of Pilsners.
yeah. Should you find yourself on the way to the
lagers.
Alchemist, do not ignore the signs to Von Trapp. Let me just put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, no.
When we
No.
went, we hit the Alchemist first, and then we stayed at the Von Trapp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was cold, and there was snow, and it
And
was
tasty beer.
Oh, it
Lots
was
of tasty beer.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
nobody there. Like it was.
We
pretty
caught it at a
empty.
perfect
Yeah.
time.
Nice.
Yeah, even
Nice.
at the tap room restaurant-y
Yeah.
thing, it was like us
Getting
there
some schnitzel.
alone.
Yeah.
Yes, so good. Okay, that's for another time.
Now I'm hungry.
I know, right? Next is perfect for this time of year. It's called Das Labyrinth 5.3% ABV Märzen. The arrival of our Märzen marks a fine time of the year where dark malty lagers are king and the schnitzel rains from the sky. How romantic. This malty treat is brimming with Munich, Vienna, and caramel malt, giving notes of biscuit, toffee, and toasty caramel with a firm but clean bitterness from the hop addition. Pouring a beautiful amber tone and exhibiting velvety mouthfeel, this traditional German Märzen brings you back to the beautiful landscapes of the German countryside. So,
I don't know what you guys think.
great color, huh?
I like it. This is, to me, this is what a Märzen should be. It's got that sweet, caramelly, toasty, big malty thing going on through the middle, but then it just cleans up.
Yep.
It fades out. You get a little bit of that classic German noble hop bitterness going on, but it just finishes really nice and smooth.
Could you drink a liter of this?
I absolutely could.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it finishes
issue.
kind of what I'd say is semi-dry or however you want to describe it, but it does the sweet hits you on the front end.
It's the yin and yang of dry and sweet.
Yeah. You're right. This is the way it needs to work.
And because it cleans up, you can put away a liter of this because it's only 5.3%. It seems like it should be a much bigger beer, but it is so easy drinking.
Yeah.
There's a ton of flavor in this thing.
Love it.
Gosh.
Juliana.
Yeah, this is what I love about craft breweries that are making their interpretation of German classics. You know, it's hard for us to get it fresh from the tap, so to speak, because we're here in the United States. But this is what I love about American breweries making good German style beers. You know, this is fresh. This is malty. It's tasty. The finish on it, I'm still like amazed that it's such a nice, clean ending that you could drink liters and liters of this. I mean, seriously, this is, perfect.
Would you say it's a happy ending?
Yeah.
Yes.
You could drink liters
Especially on a pontoon.
You could drink liters of this
especially.
while you are in the McDonald's drive-through.
and
Wait for that Happy Meal.
Yeah. And still be ready to pick up and look happy and perky. Yes.
This shows me they can do a malty lager really well.
Yes.
And I don't know what didn't turn out on the Czech lager, but on the Märzen, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. This is a resounding 4.
Yeah, it'd be. I think with that Pilsner though, I think it's an interpretation. I think like all these beers are an interpretation of the style, and you do the best you can. But yeah, it would be interesting to see if they made another batch of that Pilsner, maybe just like Sean said, kind of hopped it a little bit more aggressively and kind of balance that out a little bit. But that Märzen, yeah, spot on.
So on point. We'll be discussing more beers from Pontoon in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone.
Thanks.
So today's episode, we are talking about.
that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Fine,
Sorry,
fine.
we're just hi.
Passing beer.
We're just passing beer around.
Getting ready.
The beer show.
We are doing a brewery takeover of Pontoon Brewing from Sandy Springs, Georgia. And the next one that we are going to talk about is Dem Bones, which is a dry hopped Pilsner. 5.5% ABV. It's a dry hop Pilsner that has some slight haze to it from the large wheat bill in the beer. Dry hopped with Loral.
I don't have Dem Bones in front of me.
Oh, wow.
We definitely have a
I
different
have something
beer.
that is not a dry hop Pilsner.
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is an interesing pills. Very fruity.
That would be
Reverend Mark
because-
again still has not.
That's the beer we're talking about.
Okay, guys.
You were
So everybody needs to understand.
no, you were just what?
At every bottle
I'm sorry.
share, there is a Reverend Mark. Like the beer stops with him. Like Teddy Roosevelt said, the buck stops with me. Yeah, the beer stops with Reverend Mark.
Okay, so as I was continuing.
Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I hadn't even tasted it, so
Yeah, that makes all of us.
It is dry hop with Loral and German Tettnang hops. It's a hoppy Helles that has nice floral and slight citrus notes backed by a crisp, bready-like malt bill from the Vienna malt. So, what do we think about Dem Bones?
Gotta try it.
I wonder, is this, there was a song. Alice, right?
Alice in Chains.
Maybe I'm not the hugest Alice in Chains fan.
What?
I know. Well,
I
and
think
there's
I'm keeping that record.
Dem Bones.
yeah, I was gonna say Dem Bones, them.
Juicy Bones.
Yeah, lazy bones. I can't remember. Yeah, how that
It was
went.
like a dog food commercial.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
That's what I thought of.
Yeah. So when
I
you're
like
pairing this beer, what kind of dog food would you pair it with?
Stop.
Tell us what you think, Kendall.
Oh, I love this beer. I like a good dry hop Pilsner, and it's nice and soft, but the hops, the flavors you're getting,
Yeah, they really shine through.
This is very refreshing.
wonderful. Almost citrus. I'm getting a little citrusy, almost like a lemony taste.
Yep.
Which is really weird. You know, when we're talking maybe German style Pilsners,
Yeah.
you don't get as much citrus in those. But I think the way it softens out, and I think you said they use some wheat in here, which is
That's
not
what- yep,
normal
yep,
in a
no.
Pilsner. It also makes it a little softer.
Yeah.
I just really like the combination of flavors. It's a pretty well done dry hop Pils.
I like this as a contrast to that Märzen too. Like they're
Absolutely.
completely different, but it
This is
was
a nice
really
follow-up.
nice. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think this is a good, like an American interpretation. You know, I mean, it because like the wheat aspect really makes it kind of pop,
Yeah.
gives it a little bit more of a dry foundation.
It is a dry finish on
It
this
does.
beer, man.
You don't think it's going to be because it almost feels like a New England IPA,
Yeah.
kind of in the middle of the palate.
And then
It's
just-
really creamy.
Goes. Yeah. You know what it's not?
Moist. Moist.
How about that?
Really?
What do you think? Well, come on.
I'm really, God, this is good. Sorry. I was expecting like kind of an overload of floralness to it, but it's so balanced.
Yeah.
So balanced. I could have like 5-6 of these. It's
This is a good pontoon beer.
Absolutely.
This is really, this is very dialed in. Very, very dialed in.
And even though Pilsners is supposed to be crystal clear and this a little hazy, if you're on a pontoon boat, it's all hazy.
Man, everything gets hazy after about the first three.
But this is what, okay, so there's not a lot of fuss and muss to this. I mean, yeah, it's dry hop, so okay, there's a little bit of that, but it just reinforces to me at how great the style of beer is and how just enjoyable with everything. I mean, yes, we've been talking about Happy Meals and what part of the Happy Meal this would go with, and honestly, I think this would go with anything
This would go
in
with
the Happy Meal.
This would go with a pie.
The pie. Oh, yeah.
This would go with
the pie.
all 2 food groups that McDonald's offers.
Hey, it's checking all the boxes then, isn't it?
Breading and preservatives.
But so, I mean, yeah. And any time of year, this is real. I mean, obviously, summery pontoon weather, this is perfect because it's, it's not too full of flavor, so to speak, that kind of weighs you down. But even in the winter, there's something really good about like coming off a ski slope and having something crisp and light like this to just,
Refresh.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until you tackle the next hill or slope. You know what I mean?
Well, you got that nice buzz going after, that you down that bottle.
There's
or two.
that too.
Sure. And if you happen to break your leg, have 3 or 4 or 5.
You know what? You won't feel a thing. It'll be great.
There you go.
What about pontooning down a ski slope?
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah.
Don't they have some? Well, it's like tubing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So that's kind of similar.
but different.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
but different. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, in
You're
a
still
way,
on water.
Yeah, just in a different form.
it's kind of like tobogganing, except
See,
it's a big toboggan,
That's why.
right?
That's why Kendall is the big brain.
Check out the brains on Kindle.
Yeah, this is another classy beer.
Well done.
I guess I should have waited. Sorry.
Can I speak? Yeah, thank you. Trigger happy.
Apparently you can.
Well, Dem Bones from Pontoon Brewing, we are going to rate a resounding 4.
Not just a 4. Resounding 4.
Okay, next up. This one's kind of funky looking.
This
'cause
is a
they got
bonus
in-
beer.
This is a bonus beer. We weren't sure if we were going to get to it. And there's an alien on the bus. This is called Intergalactic Space Rave, 5.6% ABV Berliner Weiss. Rue Brew Part 2. We brewed this for our friends of Camp Redaroo and the Roo Bus and created a beer that blasts off with real fruit flavor. They took apples, kiwi, white grapes, melon, lactose,
I
and
knew there
vanilla.
was lactose in this damn thing. So they go from something I thought was pretty awesome to this.
You know what, though?
I kind of like it.
Here's the
I don't dislike it. Yeah.
Here's the
It's good.
thing.
Yeah.
Is they're taking that trend that we all are over, at least I'm over it, but they're making a subtle version of it, and I can appreciate this.
I like this beer. I would just like to try it without the lactose. I don't
Okay,
think
that's fair.
I
That's
don't
fair.
think the lactose brings something necessary to this beer.
I think it brings a little balance to the tartness and the fruitiness. You mentioned so many varieties there. You can't really, it's almost like a fruit salad. It's
Yeah.
hard to pin down any one, but it's just overall fruity.
It's like a fruit cup.
Yep.
Yep.
And so that little bit of sugar, I think, helps with that. And yeah, it kind of tastes like a little alcoholic fruit cup.
This is ambrosia. That's all it
Yeah.
is. It's liquid ambrosia.
All Sean heard was alcoholic fruit cup.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's grinning.
Sean was like, if they put that in a
Alcoholic fruit cup.
if they put that in a Happy Meal, Sean would go to McDonald's every day.
Maybe not every day, twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why hasn't Dole thought of that? You know, they could do the mixed fruit melange
Ooh, yeah.
and a little vodka.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
Or,
it's a cocktail in a can waiting to happen.
Just leave some fruit cups out in the sun for a few days. It'll probably get you there.
But this is kind of bright and grapey and kind of sweet a little bit, even though it's sour. I could see putting this into like a little juice box for a pre-nap elementary school distribution.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great doing the show. I'm sorry this has to be the last episode we ever do, ever.
Oh my gosh.
Kids love it.
Time to take Reverend Mark back to the home.
Preschool teachers even more.
That's not a bad point, though. Don't let your children find this beer because they will enjoy it.
They will enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of Berliner Weisses, this is not the traditional. Okay, let's
Yes.
not go off the rail. Let's be honest about it. But I think for what it is, it's approachable.
How
you know
do
what I
you
mean?
guys like this one compared to the others? Since we had two Berliner Weisses, how do you guys like this one compared
I like
to the
this
other
one a lot more.
You do? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like it more too.
Really? I like the other one more just because I could pick out the pineapple and the cherry.
And here it's a little bit more muddled with the fruits.
It's more muddled,
Okay,
but I also,
that's fair.
I'm
works.
hung up on lactose. I'm such a lactose hater right now.
Yeah.
I'm hung up there.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I would like to try this beer without the lactose.
Yeah.
I think it could be better.
Yeah.
The fruit would stand out more. I think that the sugar covers up the fruit.
And I think a little extra tartness would make this beer better, So, but I still think it's really good though. I mean, what do you guys?
I love it.
It's awesome. So the intergalactic
Ooh,
space,
intergalactic. I like to hear that. Yeah.
Intergalactic Space Rave from Pontoon. We are rating a 4.
Getting it done. Sandy Springs.
Now we got a couple minutes for one last one.
Another bonus beer, guys.
Another bonus. Yes. Don't you got a special sound effect for that, Dave?
I fart in your general direction. and your father smelt of elderberry.
Elderberry.
Well, I don't know.
So what's your favorite color?
Okay, right. Okay, so this one is called the 4 Essentials.
And full
I wonder
disclosure,
what they could be.
Juliana and I've had this one before, and this was kind of the reason why we wanted to do a show on these guys.
I'm really liking this one.
5.4% ABV, and this is a Kolsch.
Kolsch. Yes.
It definitely ticks all the Kolsch
It's a
boxes.
Kolsch.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's just a well-made Kolsch.
Yeah.
There's nothing surprising about it. It's everything you want. Crisp, light, got a little bit of overall fruitiness.
How would you guys describe the aroma?
Yeah, I was struggling to put words to it earlier when I was smelling this.
Almost a little crackery, but almost graham cracker,
Like
but not
sweet crackers.
Yeah, not quite graham cracker, but a sweet cracker going on.
You know, back in the day, they used to call me Sweet Cracker. But
Oh boy!
Said before you were paroled.
yeah. back in the yard.
Good old sweet cracker Dave.
Hey, there goes old Sweet Cracker.
Wow, yeah.
That's how you break a show.
Wow. So their description, which is interesting, to honor the rich tradition of craft brewing, they dialed the clock back to like 2011, a simpler time when beer didn't contain chocolate chip cookies mixed with Tide Pods.
Thank you.
And TikTok influencer wasn't considered a serious occupation. Praise be to that.
Yes.
Yes.
Speaking truth to power.
They get the Reinheitsgebot medal.
They do. They seriously do. Wow. But this, to me, is what it's all about. You can't hide behind this beer.
No.
And this is also a beer style that, like an ale house that doesn't have a lot of refrigeration, can produce and woo over the bud drinkers, you know.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's Blackstone Brewery here in Nashville. Their Chaser Pale is a Kolsch that they never, people would come and ask for Budweiser, and they're like, we have this.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so much better.
Way better. It was so much better.
So Kolsch is like kind of a hybrid ale lager.
It
right?
is. Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a redheaded stepchild because I don't think it gets the credit that it really deserves.
Me.
I mean, I think people in Cologne might say different, but
Sure.
you know
You know what I
especially,
mean.
yeah. But yes, here in the U.S., it's
American craft beer drinkers generally don't appreciate this style.
Yeah, it's only one of two German ale, like
yes,
That's not a true
top
lager.
cropping. Yeah.
yeah. With this and Hefeweizen,
Right.
yeah.
God.
Well,
Sorry.
hey now,
Sorry. I don't
there's a
like it.
place for it.
What do you have against?
inhale.
What do you have against banana and clove?
Yeah. Well, unless you're
And
smoking
bubble
them.
gum.
Yes.
They're great for smoking, but not so much for drinking.
Bananas?
Smoking banana peels. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this gets the lawnmower beer award for me, which is a good thing. I mean that in a good way.
No, and a good Kolsch is. It's just, honestly, it's really hard to find a good Kolsch. I can't think of too many that you can find like that are even distributed, that are actually good, that don't taste like sulfur and don't have this like over sweetness to them.
This one's really, really well made.
Yeah. It's just,
This is a crushable beer, perfect for the summer on the pontoon boat.
And I think
Very much so.
I think the name says it all, the four essentials, because I mean it really just breaks it down to what a beer can really just be.
True. And honestly, if you are a home brewer, if you're starting out as a home brewer, being able to brew this style beer is such an achievement.
Yes.
I mean, I remember the first time that we tried this, and it was a strange little contest that involved popcorn and mangoes that had to be added in. No, but we got really lucky, and it was so tasty. I mean, when a Kolsch is made right, it's just,
especially with popcorn and mangoes.
Or if it's full of mangoes. Yeah.
it was heaven. It was absolute heaven. Anyways, we are going to rate the four essentials from Pontoon Brewing we're going 5. It's a 5.
Well done, especially for a Kolsch. We don't see many of those get a 5.
Yeah. No, this is really, really well done.
Wow.
Nice job, Pontoon.
I know, right? Well, that's going to do it for us today. I am really thrilled. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to us online, do yourself a favor and tap.
Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
Tap the subscribe button. The easiest way to listen to our show is to ask Siri, Alexa, Google, or Uncle Larry, play podcast Sips, Suds, and Smokes.
We love your feedback, and you can reach us online at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our tasting notes flow out from Twitter every day at Sips, Suds, Smokes, and our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. You'll be able to interact with 1,000 of other fans on those social media platforms.
And please, please do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online.
5 stars.
That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well.
Well, I want to thank all my co-hosts for being here today. Good old boy Kendall.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Please tell us about your blog.
I blog about the good news of good beer with my beautiful wife at beermakes3.com.
Hi, June. I miss you. You need to come visit us. Reverend Mark, thank you so much for being here today.
Still happy to be here.
And I love your bluegrass shirt.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk all about this later. Yeah.
Love it. Good old boy Sean, thank you for coming back and visiting us.
Good to be back and happy to do this again and happy to spend the Sunday afternoon as it may be right now with y'all.
Yay. Good old boy Dave.
Yeah, it's good. Good to see you. It's all great. Yeah.
It's better than cats. I want to do it again and again and again.
Wow.
Wow. He went there. This is good old Gal JulieannaSUDS. Thank you so much for listening to us, especially now at the end. Keep on chuggling, and we'll catch you on our next episode.
This has been a one-tan-hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.